Now I'd like to share with you one of the favorite chapters in our book. It's titled Oops and Other Words to Lead By. And to get into that, I'm going to start by sharing 4 simple words with you today. Now these 4 words may be the most important words that you will ever speak as a leader. These 4 simple words can determine the level of respect that you will command as a leader. And these 4 words can even make or break your career. Now let me tell you what these 4 words aren't. They're not, I want a raise. They are not, when is my promotion? And contrary to what you might believe by studying the actions of our nation's most prominent business leaders and politicians, these 4 words are not, I didn't do it. So what are these 4 words? Well, get your pencils out, because I want you to write these down, because you don't often hear these words, unfortunately, in corporate America. So here we go. The 4 words are, I made a mistake. Let me repeat that for you. I made a mistake. Simple, yet powerful, magical, and underused words in corporate America. Because you know, the fact is, we are all going to make mistakes. All of us do. As leaders, we're going to make a mistake. That's not what's important. What's important is what happens after you make the mistake. What you do after the mistake will set the tone for what kind of leader you are, and it will speak volumes about your character. Well, I've got to tell you, how you handle a mistake is going to determine, I believe, how quickly you get to the corner office. And Scott and I will both tell you that it will absolutely determine how long you stay there. Because when you do make a mistake, I can guarantee you that your team members, your employees, your customers, your vendors, they're all going to be watching how you perform under adversity. And not only are they going to learn a lot about your character, but it's also going to set the stage for their own behavior. If you lie, if you cheat, if you cover things up, if you blame others, which is a very popular game in corporate America, if you do those things, then I can guarantee you that's the behavior that those folks will emulate. So now I'd like to share a big idea with you that you can go back immediately and implement. If you want to create an environment where people take risks, where they're willing to own up to their mistakes, then you've got to start by sharing your own mistakes. So gather your troops around, hold a team meeting, talk to them about the importance of making mistakes and owning up to them, and then have the courage to share with them your biggest mistake. And be sure and tell them what you learned from it. That's how you create that environment. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, okay, great, she's telling us to share mistakes. How about you share one with us? Right? I will. I have one mistake that I made early in my career that is still very memorable to me, and it's also good because I learned a number of important lessons from this mistake. This is also an illustration of how important your reaction to a mistake is. If someone is raked over the coals, if they're humiliated or fired for making a mistake, then you can bet that the message you're sending is play it safe. And playing it safe usually translates into no innovations, no breakthroughs, no big ideas. And that's not good for business, and it's not good for your career. So if you want to succeed as a leader, you've got to be failure tolerant. You've got to have the confidence to admit to your own mistakes, and you've got to create an environment where others are willing to own up to their mistakes. That's why this instinct is so important. If you want to be the kind of leader who leads from the heart and the head, then all you really need to do is follow your instincts.
And don't forget to nurture them and to develop them and continue to practice them. Because that's when they just, all of a sudden, guide you from the gut. And you will be prepared and ready for any situation that you face in corporate America.
And you'll be on your way to the corner office.
What I want to talk to you about right now is a chapter that we have in the book that's called Put Your Fingers Down and Listen. Now I know you're going, what are you talking about? Put your fingers down and listen. Actually, the instinct that I'm going to share with you is something that you learned in first grade. And, you know, the funny part is that as you tend to get older in life, what you realize is you really learned a heck of a lot in first grade. But my first grade teacher, Mrs. Good, taught us that when someone speaks to you, return the favor and listen. And that instinct right now is one of the most difficult instincts for those attempting to move up in corporate America to practice. And I'll explain to you why. We tend to believe that corporate America right now is losing their ability to listen. An example. Right now, I'd like all of you, and be very honest with this, we have spotters out in the audience. How many of you, just a show of hands, have a BlackBerry, a boysenberry, a raspberry? How many of you have a device where you can get your emails? Okay. That's about what I thought, probably about 80%. Okay, I want you to stand up. Now, I want you to put that on the table in front of you. All right, now I'm going to ask you to do something that's maybe very difficult for you to do. But I want you to turn it off. Patty, no CPR. She is standing by, if any of you, and I'll bet you right now, half of you don't know where the off button is. I don't want you to put it on vibrate. I don't want you to put it on silent. I want you to turn it off. All right, I see some difficult breathing, okay. All right, now sit down. Now I know you're going to listen, because there tends to be a theory out there that texting is not talking. Texting is talking. If you're typing, if you're engaged in a conversation, you're talking to somebody. And we've all seen it. We've all been talking to somebody, and they're sitting there playing with their things and talking to somebody else. The amazing part is that no one considers this rude anymore. I think we consider it multitasking. No, it's multi-rudeness. And it is reaching epidemic proportions. Is that the minute we engage with another form of communication, we tune out the presenter. We stop listening. And the minute we stop listening, I guarantee you ideas are lost. At the next meeting, when people come in, I want you to ask them, not what I did with you, which was, turn your BlackBerries off. I want you to tell them to set it back on the table. I don't want, you don't want it near them, you don't want it in their pocket, but just set it on the back table. Start the meeting, and all of a sudden, for the first time in years, you will have 100% participation in that meeting with what is being presented and talked about in that meeting. And if you do that, I guarantee you the buzz will generate throughout your company, and you just might be amazed at how efficient and how productive that meeting is. Because this has to start somewhere. And we would love to see it start with you.